Yeah, you know what's the thing?
Things have changed, some things have changed. I'm just like a god, I'm still the same. I'm not a change man. Tell them I'm the same one. Hey, me get that dream last night and the dream tell me things have changed. A long time and I suffer and I know things still are the same. But just why I have feared for me. When me touch your road, I pray for me. But just I stay focused every day.
I heard that a certain person had his calendar custom made. I heard he rip in the middle because he cannot stand to face Friday. I heard, and for those of you on the internet, you can see a copy of that custom made calendar. I heard that every Thursday night he doesn't report to work on a Friday because he doesn't get out of bed. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, I stand here this evening proudly supporting the man that takes up residency in the other person's head. I stand here supporting Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday. You know, friends, I sat this evening, and I felt so brokenhearted. Brokenhearted because I sat and I listened to speakers this evening. Youth after youth. And the stories that they've been sharing. If your heart doesn't break by them, if you're not moved by them, something is wrong. And I can only imagine that they're not alone. There are hundreds of other young Vincentian youths who share the same story as those who are here this evening. They're just those who are too scared to come forward. But understand this, that if you do, and whenever you're ready, there's a platform here for you. Friends, I stand here very troubled because I listened to the last sitting of Parliament, and to my dismay, these guys think that the most appropriate time to put $20 million to fancy up a building is now? Now, when we are in the middle of a pandemic, when so many persons are uncertain about the future, when so many youths are seeing their parents sitting at home unemployed, when so many sailors are at home, don't know if they're going back out, and some of them were the only breadwinner in that family, and they think that now is the most appropriate time to invest in fancying up a building for which they only meet and sit 6 times a year? Dr. Friday, I love you. You're a politician and a lawyer, but I know that your heart is in the right place, because you stood that night in Parliament and you said to them, listen, whilst I think that it is good for us to do that, the time is not now, because I believe that we should be putting the money where the pain is. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that our current national debt is $1.5 billion? Friends, that equals to every Vincentian owing about $14,373. Let me break it down a little bit more for you. It means that every child that is born is burdened with the debt of the ULP. They are burdened with the mess that man and his son is creating. I can almost hear the cries of our newborns saying, Father God, help.
Father God help, Father God help. For all the youths in the struggle, in the ghetto, in the slum, now help. Father God help. For all the mothers where you ball and all the food because of it, need help.
And it gets worse, you know. Sadly, over 395 businesses have closed their doors in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And anyone with common sense can deduce that that equals to countless families that are now without an income. Countless families that are now hungry. Yet, Louis Straker is saying that people are not suffering. Really, Louis? Really? How out of touch can you be? How out of touch can the people on that side be? But as Dr. Friday puts it, if you are out of touch, it is time to get out of office. If you are out of touch, it is time to get out of office. You know, one of the things that they like to do is talk about how we were impacted by this and impacted by that. It is amusing and confusing to me that in 2020, after almost 20 years, that you, as a ruling regime, cannot run on your track record, that you have to be running on promises. How ridiculous is that? And I'll tell you this, they love to behave as though St. Vincent and the Grenadines was the only country that was affected by some sort of economic turbulence. But listen to this. We exist in a Caribbean community for which they were also experiencing the same things that we did. But let me just throw something out at you. Did you know that an unemployed person in Barbados gets $600? In St. Kitts, in St. Vincent, we call it something like poor relief, just so that you know. In St. Kitts, they get $1,000. An unemployed person in SVG gets only $300. Yet Louis thinks that poor people are not suffering.
Poor people can't fight food to eat, so Johnny so. Man and dead like fall out the street, so Johnny so. Turn off the music.
I want you to listen to me, and listen well. Imagine that someone tells you, if you're there with me, I'm going to take you on a trip to Paris. And you decide to deal with the person. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, no Paris. Year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, no Paris. Year 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and you're in year 19. And one day, they come home and they say, honey, let's go on the trip. And they put you in a dinghy, and they carry you down to Baliso. And they tell you a trip is a trip. You'll be hopping mad. Wouldn't you be? Now, Paris is Paris, and Baliso is Baliso. So when they promise you a national stadium, and they give you a track, you should be hopping mad. You should be pissed. Because Paris is Paris, Baliso is Baliso, a national stadium is a national stadium, and a track is a track. Paris. Baliso is Baliso. And let me tell you something. There are some people who, when you want to see them, you can't see them at all. But when they're ready to beg something from you like a favor, they start to butter you up. You have friends like that, don't it? Yeah. They start to check for you. They start to leave a little like on your Instagram page. Drop a whole set of hats and love and thing. They start to like your pictures on Facebook. So you know, they start to make you feel nice. You know, it's the same thing that they're trying to do now. Buttering you up and priming you up. Only because they want your vote. But here's something now. Take the prime. Take the prime, but tell them I say to move and go with them hypocrite hill.
Tell them move and go with them hypocrite hill. Come energy you want drain with the hypocrite hill.
Tell them that I say, if they used to drive by you in the SUV with the AC on, if you couldn't get an appointment from them before, if them and used to pass and stop and hail you, if you were not able to make an appointment and see them, if they never used to come by your house before, tell them that I said to keep the same energy.
If you never talk to me last year, this year when you see me, keep the same energy. And if you never support the thing, don't clap when the wind down, keep the same energy.
Now listen to me.
You the biggest seed that out the road, now you want.
There are several things that I can go on and on about as it relates to their failings. But I am here to give you some good news. I am also here to tell you about the plans of the New Democratic Party, my party, the NDP, that is led by Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday.
Okay.
Friends, something that is near and dear to my heart. We've been seeing it in the news over and over again. A lot of women in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been crying out. We've heard video clips and audio clips of women who are being beaten. We are seeing the images on social media. Time and time again, we are hearing about a women that are going through abuses of different forms. It breaks my heart. But what gives me hope is knowing that I support a party that has policies in place to deal with this. Now I know that time after time, they come with their mouth talk because them is a bunch of mouth champs. And they will say, run, flee, leave. Yet they put nothing in place to enable you to leave. They will go and they will make a 5-minute speech at different rallies. And they will sound pompous, and they have nothing behind it. How much longer do you need them to show you that they're all cheap talk? They will tell you to run and flee and leave, but where would you run and go? Friends, my party says that we will build a home and put a program in place so that women in these situations can live and be sustained for a period of time until they can stand on their own. How can I hear such a plan and not be comforted? How can I be a woman in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and hear something like this and not put my ex next to the key? When I hear these plans of the New Democratic Party, I hear the words of the legend Bob Marley saying, every little thing is going to be all right.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be all right. Singing don't worry
Friends,
about a thing.
one of the things Dr. Friday is not a man who talks just because he wants to let out hot air. When he says it, he means it. This is a man that we can take at his word. And so we can look forward to that program and that facility for our women who are in trouble. We deserve a government that works for us, not just before elections. Dr. Friday and his team has a plan for SVG that is centered around growth and job creation. Many of the plans that we have now were developed, shaped, and influenced by youths. After all, you heard him say that it is our future. You see, the NDP has several plans that excite me. I'm going to tell you about the next one. When the NDP introduces the CBI program, which is an initiative that will approve business people to invest hundreds and thousands of dollars into our nation, we will have access to tax-free, interest-free money. Friends, we need foreign investors investing in our healthcare system, not just in hotels. The tax-free, interest-free CBI money will be used to build a better healthcare facility for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Listen to me. Not many of us, if we drop down now, can get that airport to open for us to fly out. It has happened for ministers' children. But I'll say this to you, that if you get sick when an NDP government is in office, we know that you deserve the best treatment right here on land. And that is why healthcare is at the top of our priority list. We know that health matters. We know that the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital is not fit for patients, let alone for the future. And that is why we will put the money where the pain is and build a new medical facility. Friends, one of the things Dr. Friday walked into the office one day and said to me was, Lavern, did you know that people on the YES program, that they're seemingly stuck there and can only take home around $400? And I said, really Doc? He said, yes. He said, I was talking to a young woman recently and she was telling me about the YES program and so forth. And it's unfortunate sometimes the way by which some women get onto that program. But Dr. Friday said, listen, I don't think that that is money that can even help anyone out, that you can start from. This basically lets you pay a passage to go again. So you're a slave to the system. And he said, listen, I'm going to make it possible, one way or another, to ensure that you take home, once you're on the YES program, over $600. Let me give you that again. Currently, people on the YES program take home about $400 and odd, and an increase to $600 and odd is almost 33-point-something% higher. And Dr. Friday is saying to you that I will deliver that to you. And you don't have to come to his office and beg because it will be applied throughout.
Okay.
There's something else that excites me. And listen, we are doing evangelism tonight. So when I tell you about what excites me, you get excited and you share it with your friends. The NDP says that I know it is a struggle for young professionals who return from study to get going because they agree to a student loan that lets them, that when they come back, they have to pay an interest rate of 8 and 9%. So by the time you get your salary, most of your salary gone back into payment and you can't live. to 4 and 5%. Friends, this is good news. And you will notice something about these policies of the NDP. They're not policies that are applied to niche people. There are policies that will apply to the red, the yellow, and the non-colored. Because the NDP is interested in developing the livelihood of every Vincentian young man and young woman.
Okay.
And finally, friends, I wish to dedicate this song to the supporters, well-wishers, and well-wishers of the NDP.
Tell them I'm the strongest soldiers get the hardest fight. And on the realest people live the hardest life. So now we shine, even after the darkest night. So better days are on the way.
Better days are on the way. Friends, the strongest soldiers get the hardest fight. Right, Kenson? I've seen it, and I've been a victim of it. There are some keyboard bullies in the ULP. That is what we call them, keyboard bullies. They will try to muzzle you. They will try to shut you up. They will try to put a meme out there and think that they're funny. But all they are keyboard bullies. And every bully does get cut down. I want to tell you that better days are on the way. So when the keyboard bullies come to you, stand up, stand strong, keep your ground, hold on to your victory because it is coming. When the keyboard bullies come at you, know that your fight is a fight for democracy. Your fight is a fight for meritocracy. Your fight is a fight for your future and your children's future. It is a fight for jobs. It is a fight for a level playing ground. It is a fight to save our country. So stand firm against those keyboard bullies. Dr. Friday and his team is working hard. We are checking the voters list. We are inviting old foes to come and join our tent. We are lobbying on your behalf in Parliament. We are actively recruiting new voters because we know how much this election means to all of us. So don't lose hope. We are working and we will not stop until we win. We will not rest until we ensure that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is on a better path. But I'm here to tell you that we cannot do it alone. We want our country to do better. But when we list all of our candidates, there are only 15 of them. Your vote is bigger and mightier. We can only achieve what we want to do when we have meetings like these and you share the good news with your friends. We cannot win by only having NDP people here with us. That is why Dr. Friday says that we are about one nation, one people, one Vinci. It's okay if some people block you. Until they block you, send them the broadcast messages. Send them the policies, because the excuse this time around will not be that they didn't hear about us. It will not be that. Join forces with Dr. Friday. Major is here, I know it's his birthday. Israel is here. Patel is here all the way from Chateau Ben is here. Friends, that is commitment. So Cummins is here. People from the Grenadines are here. And we are here because we want to see a better St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So remember, and nature is here. and we know that nature will take its course. Friends, I want to thank you so much for listening to us. And remember that we can't do it alone. So stand up to those keyboard bullies, because your victory is coming.
Spread your wings.